What is going on, family, masters and princesses? I really appreciate you guys' patience on this. If you have tuned into any of my live streams, I've kind of given a little bit of an update on where I've been on that lately. If you do know, if you don't know, your boy's been kind of going through it lately. I'm kind of in a little bit of a black hole, if you will. So I'm trying to come out of it. I really am, but I'm so sorry that it's been taking this long to get to this reaction. I got sick I had laptop and audio issues. I was not able to record during the Thanksgiving holiday and all that, so I had plans to do this and I didn't get a chance to do it. And I know it's been a minute since I got a chance to get into one of these, so I appreciate you guys' patience. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it.
Breaking new gate.
We are in Kumamoto, a city located in the prefecture with the same name on the island of Kyushu. This is where KOBATO Miku was born a few decades ago. Her parents were a remarried couple, and she has a half-brother who's 11 years older from her father's previous marriage. As you could imagine, she was a very active child, much to the dismay of her parents, who struggled to keep an eye on her, as she was the kind of child who snuck out of her house to play or run all around as soon as she was taken to large open spaces.
Why doesn't that surprise me? I feel like that's a consistent thing across the Band-Maid ladies.
She loved to play with boys at games like Chanbara, which is basically sword fighting for kids, or catch insects in the summer, but those little trips and games cost Miku a lot of bumps and bruises. Miku was introduced into music very early by her grandmother, who went to an enka karaoke class. When she was around 7 or 8, Miku fell in love with music and singing as she followed her grandmother to local public hall gatherings. At this time, Miku only knew enka, so that's all she sang. The first song she learned was Jindo Monogatari by Yoshimi Tendo. Her mother was worried that Miku would only be interested in enka, so she asked her to listen to other musical genres and offered her a CD of the idol band Morning Musume. And so, with time, Miku came to experience and listen to more and more different kinds of music. In high school, Miku was in the broadcasting club. Of course she was. This is the club responsible for those announcements that you hear in the school from time to time, like morning or lunch break news. Back then, Miku's friends were really into bands and took her to live performances of smaller amateur groups covering popular songs. Miku was not that interested in the bands, but this experience made her look into more bands to listen to. During her research, she came across Tokyo Jihen, a Japanese rock band formed around the popular singer Sheena Ringo.
I shout out to the people who made this. I can't remember how to pronounce the name, who made the documentaries on this series. But first and foremost, just want to say that they did a great job on this. One of the things I'm really appreciating about this particular one is the fact that like all the little backstory stuff, I feel like is giving like a lot of like depth with it, where like when they're like, okay, introduce this singer, they're giving you like a little, a more like full like little snippet of getting a chance to see it, because I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but I was like, man, I'm kind of feeling this shit. I was like, this is kind of my vibe, you know what I mean? It's got a little bit of that punk rock energy that I'm kind of feeling.
Miku was stunned by their sound and finally found the music that she wanted to do. It was also during this time that Miku's parents
major inspiration for the band. See, I love it. I love it.
got divorced, and her father totally disappeared from her life. From then on, she had to live with her grandmother. It was a hard time for her and her family, but she tried to find a proper high school and think about her future. No time to think about making music for a living, even though this idea was starting to grow in her mind. When she was at university, Miku missed a lot of classes because she was working part-time to earn enough money to participate in multiple auditions in Tokyo. The problem was, she never told her mother about all her travels to the big city. And the more Miku went to Tokyo, the more she wanted to live there. So, in October 2010, on her birthday, Miku presented her I Want to Live in Tokyo plan to her mother to try and reassure her. This plan was basically to find enough part-time work to pay for her life there, along with vocal training. Miku knew that living in a big city like Tokyo would cost a lot, so she took as many jobs as she could. At one point, she had 3 different jobs, leaving her with just a few hours of sleep per day.
Shout out to her, man. Anybody who's ever had to work 3 jobs, I've been there myself. You know, it's a tough life when you work like that. You don't have a lot of time for friends. You don't have a lot of time for family. You really are just basically giving all of your day to trying to make money to basically take care of yourself. So, yeah, it's terrible that really anybody ever has to go through circumstances like that. Period. But you know, it just really shows the character and the true nature of really just tenacity that she had, basically, and showed that she'd be willing to do anything to make it work. So that's just really commendable. So that's really cool that they shared that.
She was willing to do anything to realize her dream. One of her jobs was at a maid cafe in Kumamoto. This is the kind of job that fit her perfectly, as she was very interested in customer service, loved to talk to people, and loved the idea of wearing a cute outfit at work. This particular maid cafe only lasted.
I'm the same, bro. I would have been the same way, man. I enjoy talking to people. I've always enjoyed jobs and stuff like that put me engaging with people. You know what I mean? It's a kind of a personality type. For me, it's a little bit of like, I really like to really engage with other people and their lives, and just, you know, I'm more interested in them than I am in me. So I'm much more interested in you talking about yourself than me talking about myself. And I feel like a lot of people are like that, maybe are similar, have kind of those similar things where it's like you'd rather much hear what they had to say than what you have to say about really anything. And I think it's just always cool. And another characteristic, and, you know, I mean, like just a human characteristic that kind of just shows who she is a little bit.
6 months until December 31st.
And then obviously the maid outfits obviously was a big thing that kind of probably came from here. So I got to make sure I call that out, because somebody will think that I didn't catch it. So, you know, I got to make sure I say it.
2010. It's hard for this kind of business to last in local cities like Kumamoto because of the lack of new customers daily. With nothing holding her back in Kumamoto and enough money from all her hard work, Miku quit university and moved to Tokyo to start a new life pursuing her dream of becoming a singer. Now that she was living in Tokyo, Miku easily found a part-time job, as she had already a lot of experience from her life in Kumamoto. Miku discovered the concept of maid cafe in her hometown, so she thought that it would be a good idea to try and work in a maid cafe in Akihabara, the place where maid cafes are the most popular in Japan. She started to work at the at-home cafe in May 2011 under the name Himawari, which means Sunflower. This maid cafe was way bigger than the one in Kumamoto, and this one held performances and events where Miku could work on her singing regularly. It was a great experience for her, as
Of course, it's always an upgrade when they got live music, man. That's always an upgrade.
she learned a lot about human relations, handling different types of people, and even calming down angry customers arguing with each other. After all, Miku wanted to do everything to make everyone happy. She also learned a lot from overseas customers and how they perceive maid cafes as a part of the Japanese culture. Miku worked almost a year for At Home Cafe, but quit in January.
That's why that right there, I think, tells a lot about like the overall aesthetic with the maid costumes. Is like she asked a lot of the foreign people outside of the country who were coming through what they thought of the ideas. And probably much like how I feel and have expressed before, I think it works. You know what I mean? I think it's cool. I am a fan sometimes when bands do more gimmicky things, like the maid costumes. If it works, it works. If it's lame and dumb, change it up. You know what I mean? But when it works, it works. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably the feedback that she got was people liked it. There's something about it where it kind of gives what they're doing with their music. It ties together two different concepts and two different worlds that I just think is really fucking cool, man. And it's kind of hard to explain. I just think it's dope. I kind of get what they do, you know, and get what they did.
January 2012. She had a ceremony celebrating her time working there, and there was a lot of messages from regulars and overseas customers. She even wrote a moving message on the blog of the Maid Cafe.
なんかやっと卒業したんだなって実感湧いてきました。なんかじわじわ来るね。イベントにも参加させてもらったり、歌プロにも出させてもらったり、プロマイドを撮ったり、撮影会したり、錬金だったり、振り返ってみたらいろいろしたな。自分がイベントするなんか思ってもなかったけど、まさか卒業するとはね。あ、書き損ねたんですが、スーツで来てくれたご主人様、ありがとうございました。私得でした。あと素敵なお花もありがとう。あとチェキの受け取りがまだの方、なるべく早くお絵かきしてドンキに持っていきますので、後日ドンキへお願いします。ごめんなさい。いろんなことがあったりしたけど、やっぱり私はアットホームが大好きです。8ヶ月間で出会ったご主人様やお嬢様、メイドさんを絶対に忘れません。アット中だった私が全く秋葉原に行かなくなるなんて到底無理な話なので、きっとまたお会いすることもあるかもしれません。もしまたどこかで私を見かけたらよろしくお願いします。私にとってこれからがスタートだと思ってます。みんながくれた気持ちを胸に頑張っていきたいと思います。さよならはしないです。ありがとうございました。頑張ります。ひまわり。
The reason
I love that I don't say goodbye thing too, because I'm kind of like the same way. I hate to say goodbye to people, so I try not to say like goodbye, but you know, I try to say like until next time, or I'll talk to you soon, or I'll see you soon, something like that, because it just more or less opens the door, because goodbye kind of means like never again. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people kind of have that feeling about that emotion about the idea of goodbye, is goodbye means forever. You know what I mean? And even though a lot of times people don't mean forever, but for some people it does kind of feel that way when you hear the words. So I can understand that perspective, because I feel like I try to be that way a little bit myself, where I try not to say like, you know, bye. It's always I'll see you soon, or I'll talk to you soon, or we'll talk soon, something like that. So that way it's always because my door is always open. Does that make sense? Like I'll always encourage people to reach out to me, because I would much rather talk to somebody else about whatever they want to talk about than my problems again. So, you know, Again, going through it a little bit, guys, so I'm sorry. I'm probably a little emo and down today.
The reason why she left was because she'd won the Super Idol audition on December 9th, 2011. This competition started in the summer of 2011 with 2,600 applicants. Their goal was to create a 3-member idol band with the votes of the fans. The Super Idol audition was also broadcast on MXTV.
Never works. Never works. And anytime they try to put people together, it never works. You know, we could go a million. We can give you 100 examples. We could, but we're not going to. But anytime you try to force it to happen, never works. Like you can make some magic, but it never works in the long, long run. You know what I mean?
On December 30th, 2011.
ありがとうございます。野口美香です。
And I'm sure there's exceptions to the rules.
すごいとにかく今頭の中真っ白なんですけど、すごい嬉しいです。今後ユニットとして3人で頑張っていきたいと思いますので、まだまだ未熟なところとかいっぱいあると思うんですけど、一緒に応援していただけたらなと思います。私は熊本から出てきたんですけど、すごい親にもいい報告ができて、アルバイト先のこのメイドさんをしてるんですけど、常連さんも見に来てくれていい報告ができることがすごく嬉しいです。これから頑張っていきます。ありがとうございました。
This contest allowed Miku to join an underground idol band, or Chika Idol in Japanese, named Lil Cumin 3 months later, in March 20.
Now that sounds familiar. I feel like one of you guys have told me this before about Lil Cumin. That sounds familiar.
2012. An underground idol band works with a minor label and will only perform in very small areas or events. It's well known that very few underground idol bands can become bigger and join a major label, so the chances for Lil Cumin to get bigger were really small. No pun intended. The name of the band came from the very short height of the 3 members, and that the birth flower of December 9th, when the result of the audition was announced, was Cumin. Lil Cumin was active until April 13th, 2013, when they announced they had disbanded during a one-man concert in Shinjuku Orebako due to Miku and another member quitting the band. About a month after the release of the 3rd single called Super Trooper, and their first one-man concert in the same venue. In the end, Lil Cumin released 3 singles and performed about 100 shows during a year of activities. In an interview, Miku confirmed
That's
that
a lot of
it
shows
was
for
not
3
her
singles.
thing to sing cute idol songs. She didn't.
Doesn't fit her right. Doesn't fit her right. Again, it never works when you force what you don't really want to do. You know what I mean? Like there was a point of what they were trying to get those artists to do when putting them in the rooms together. Like they were trying to create something specific. And again, we all know it just doesn't work. So like, you know, you got to make the music that you want to make or else it's never going to connect with people.
Hate it. But it was too different from the music she wanted to sing. Back to square one for Miku, who decided to send her resume to Platinum Passport, explaining the kind of music she wanted to do. The company reached back to Miku and scheduled a meeting to talk about her project. Let's imagine an abbreviated form of this conversation.
はじめまして、小鳩ミクと言います。出身は熊本です。地元と秋葉原のメイドカフェで働いていました。オーディションに受かってアイドルグループで活動していたんですが、アイドルではなく歌手になりたくて1年ほどで辞めさせていただきました。自分のやりたい音楽性とは違うなって気づいたんです。
バンドとかには興味ないの？
バンドは好きだし、東京事変さんにも憧れています。それに可愛い音楽よりもかっこいい音楽がやりたいです。
コバトはいろいろなバンドを調べて聴いているときに東京事変に出会って恋に落ちた。バンドメイド日本のエピソードで群青日和が人生を変えたとまで言っている。この瞬間からコバトはかっこいい音楽のバンドを聴くようになり、 バンドを組むという考えが頭に浮かぶようになった。もしこの曲がなかったら、小鳩はバンドを組むことなど思いつかず、バンドメイドは存在すらしなかっただろ
あ、でもメイドも好きです。
う。メイドとバンドを合わせたら面白いね。
じゃあ混ぜちゃいましょう。
On May 29th, 2013, Platinum Passport posted an audition announcement for anyone who wanted to join a new rock band performing with maid outfits. They also presented the first version of Band-Maid's logo. In this post, it was specified they were looking for women between the ages of 15 and 24 who can play guitar, bass, drums, and keyboards while wearing a maid outfit.
You have to be able to wear the maid outfit, like, while you play it, too. Like, you gotta. Like, the way that they said that kind of made it sound like, you know, only if you can wear a maid outfit while doing that. Sorry, he didn't say anything wrong or didn't say it the wrong way. It's just the way it kind of hit my brain a little bit was like, it sounds like only if you can play while wearing a maid outfit. Like, you know, it might be a little hard for you, but if you're able to accomplish that.
They also clarified that the applicants must not be currently under contract with a production company or record label and must not be planning to debut as a professional. Miku was actively looking for potential members herself and found a young musician posting guitar covers on YouTube and Nico Nico. The name of this guitarist was Konami. Miku contacted Konami through the talent agency to present her project. Konami was pretty excited to join Band-Maid, and the maid outfit was definitely not an issue for her. The next one was Akane on drums. And with that, Akane asked Misa to join her new band.
もらってでベースもいないってなってたので、その時私専門学校音楽の専門学校行ってたんですけど、で一緒の学校だったベースのミサを誘って。
She a badass right there. You know what I'm saying? With the whiskey, badass, yo.
Misa's band had just ended their activity, so the timing was perfect for her as she wanted to continue playing bass. Band-Maid, originally consisting of 4 members, was ready for its debut. They started rehearsals, but after about a month, felt that something wasn't quite right. Miku's voice alone didn't fit with this kind of music, and she didn't want to relive what happened with Lil Cumin, so the idea of bringing in another vocalist to contrast with Miku's voice was raised. A new audition was conducted, inviting everyone managed by the agency who could fit with this project. Band-Maid members and management.
As much as I love, you know, the fact that we have both of them singing, I would disagree that her voice doesn't, like, her voice does sound good with this music. I don't think it needed anything else, but where I'm glad that we have it, but I don't think it necessarily, I wouldn't say it needed to be. She sounds good over this stuff, man. She does. I haven't heard a lot of that. I don't think I've heard anything where, like, she was, like, the main singer, and that was, like, she was the only one singing, like, and when they were, like, a 4-piece. I don't think I've even seen any of those videos, but yeah, from what I'm hearing just through this, she doesn't sound terrible. Like, she sounds good still.
Found the profile of a recently scouted young singer to whom they proposed to audition. She was a model, dancer, singer who came to Tokyo to realize her dream of becoming a professional singer. And her name was Psyche. With their newfound experience gained while recruiting the other members, the management knew that they shouldn't talk about the maid outfit to Psyche if they wanted her to come to the audition. So, they didn't.
どう思った？メイドの格好でみたいなのは。 メイドですって言われなくて、
言わなかったんです断られたくなくて
今までのこの反応を見てクルッコは学習したみたいで、
なるほどなるほど。
さいちゃんには言わないで誘おうと思って
可愛い服なんだけどって言われて、
ちょっと可愛い服で
お
かっこいい曲のバンドを
やろうと
や
思って
るんだけど
で曲だけ聴いてたんで、あ、じゃあまあやってみたいですかねみたいな
感じで。
ので、これはみたいな今はこれないんですけど、エプロン
エプロン。
最初あって、エプロンってなってパシッてつけない。
From this crazy idea of mixing cute outfits with hard rock music, 4 talented young ladies joined Miku to form an impossible band whose goal is to dominate the world through music. And this band was called Band-Maid. Band-Maid didn't waste any time after finding enough members, as they started to perform live on July 24th, 2013, before Saiki even joined the band at Otsuka Deepa in Tokyo. They continued for 2 more shows before opening for Passport and Silent Siren on October 22nd, 2013 at Shibuya AX with their complete lineup. This was Band-Maid's first live.
This is how they came out the gate, baby? Oh my god, I would have been so fucking hyped. This is how they were coming. Hold on. Let's go back and watch that one more time. Like, they come out the gate with some energy,
Siren
man.
on October 22nd, 2013 at Shibuya AX with their complete lineup. This was Band-Maid's first live.
I don't know what she said, but it sounded like, are we going to have some fucking fun tonight? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you guys, I would have been fucking hyped if I was there. If this is how they came out on stage for a first time like this is a great fucking video.
This venue could hold 1,500 people, so it was a great...
Y'all let me know if that video is out there, because that'd probably be a great next Band-Maid reaction would be like to probably that song or something, if that's out there in the world.
opportunity for our newly formed band. Band-Maid started to be more active on Twitter on July 19th, 2013 to promote concerts and news about the band. Their YouTube channel had been created on October 22nd, 2013 and slowly grew over the years. Band-Maid also opened an Amiiblo blog that was deleted in 2016 to use the official website that we know today, even though it looked quite different from its current design. The management did a great job regarding the band's promotion in social media, but Band-Maid had trouble standing out and reaching more people. During the first 2 years, most of their concerts were empty. They struggled to build their own fan base, and the future of the band was very uncertain. Band-Maid tried to participate in Battle of the Bands with some other idol bands, but very few people from the audience were actually there for them, so they tried everything to expand their fan base. They promoted their merch every time they could. They took photos and thanked fans for coming to see them. Miku worked in a noodle cafe in Akihabara until 2016, and she also sold tickets by hand. The Noodle Cafe was a service operated by Platinum Passport, where you buy a cup of noodles and you can choose which idol will pour hot water into the cup. Then you will have around 3 minutes to talk with her until the noodles are ready. Until the first one-man show in Shibuya Milky Way, Misa was very unsure about her future in Band-Maid and talked to the management about quitting. And for this particular concert, the management booked a venue and asked the members to invite at least 100 people. In the end, they managed to get around 50 of their friends and acquaintances in the front row. It was...
Okay, so I'm still kind of a little focused on the fact that they said that Band-Maid had a hard time really building some steam a little bit with their audiences. While I'm watching this video of them like rocking the fuck out on stage, man, I'm like, how are you not connecting with this, man? Like, even if like you don't love the songs as much, like their energy in performing it is just really grabs you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting hyped just watching old videos of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, these videos of them doing bad at these things, they look and still are performing great.
Truly a dark time for Band-Maid. It was also around that time that they released the MV of Thrill from their first single, Ai to Jonetsu no Matedoru.
Breaking new gate.
The song, released in November 2014, was different from what they usually do, and even very different from the main song of this single.
See, that's one thing I like about Band-Maid is like they do like basically all styles of like what I consider like more regional guitar playing. You know what I'm saying? Where I feel like bands from certain parts of, especially the US, they kind of have some sounds and like the registers of kind of where that they're like playing with the distortion remind me of certain parts of the world. You know what I'm saying? Where to me, I would consider this like West Coast, like kind of like riff. You know what I mean? That little like the high pitch with the clean sounds very West Coast US to me. Like California beach vibes.
Thrill was a success on YouTube and was very well received during concerts. A few months later, on April 5th, 2015, Thrill was uploaded on a Facebook page called J-Rock Radio. This page introduced music from Japan like Visual Kei or metal bands to people from overseas, and the video gathered more than 1 million views in 4 days. You know, in comparison, it took 17 days for the music video of Unleashed to hit 1 million views, and that was the fastest any Band-Maid video grew. The response of Band-Maid's social media from overseas fans was huge. So huge that they were afraid that their Twitter account had been hacked. They also opened their Facebook page on April 9th, 2015, following the success of Thrill. It literally saved Band-Maid, as they later learned that management was about to end their contract and that this single was going to be their last. It was also the shock Band-Maid needed to find their own path and start their world domination. From this moment, the band committed to make harder songs, and 1.5 years later, they played their first concert overseas in Mexico.
That's what I'm saying, baby, is all they needed to do was get out of Japan. You know what I mean? Like, they needed to get on that internet like they did, and now when the rest of the world can see what you're doing, we're going to rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you don't hit in your hometown or you don't hit in your home country that way doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be and find more success that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a ton of bands out there that are more like international sensations, and when they come to town, people go see it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how Band-Maid is. Whenever they come back to the US, I'm going. You know what I mean? I don't know what's going to be and when, but I'm going when they come. That's what I'm saying. I've been saying this for a while now. That if I was at a random show and they were the ones who hopped up and opened, they would have won me over fast.
皆さんこんにちは、ミカです。
今日はスペシャルゲストをご紹介します。レディットでアクティブに活動していて、インタビューから MC まで数多くの翻訳をしてきた人です。皆さんきっとご存知の人ですが、声は聞いたことがないと思います。それではご紹介いたします。 T シンジさんです。
はじめまして、T シンジです。私がもともと聴いていた音楽はファンクロックやファンクなどで、ハードロックやメタルについてはほとんど知りませんでした。2019年11月に以前から友人に勧められていたベビーメタの曲を YouTube でいくつか聴いたら、サイドバーにバンドメイドのスリルが現れました。そのサムネイルを見た瞬間、これはかっこいいに違いないと直感しました。音を聞く前からギャップのコンセプトが伝わったんです。実際にスリルを聞いて途中までは悪くないなくらいに思っていたら、ミサさんのベースソロでやられました。次にダイスを聞いて、ミサさんのベースに完全に心を奪われました。私のようなファンクロックファンにとって、ミサさんのファンキーなベースは答えられない魅力があります。それからバンドメイドの MV を一気に見て、1週間後にはもう CD を注文してライブの予定をチェックしています。
Kind of to his point when he was saying about like if you're a fan of funk, then you would like Misa's bass lines because she's got very like funk style influences. I feel like we've been talking about that for a while now, where it's like all of their music touches on a little bit of all the genres. So if you like any kind of genre, they're going to kind of hit it a little bit. You just got to find the one that's going to actually remind you the most of that. You know what I mean? Not every single one is, and not every single bass line is going to remind you of funk, but there are going to be ones that do remind you of funk. Does that make sense?
ちょうどその時は東京近辺でライブがなく、次のライブはツアーファイナルの LINE キューブ渋谷だったので、すぐにチケットを買いました。また歌詞を見ながら聴くうちに、小鳩さんの歌詞の素晴らしさに気づき、小鳩さんの大ファンになりました。小鳩さんの歌詞は内容もいいですが、何よりも音がいいんです。日本の曲では英語がよく使われますが、同じメロディーに英語と日本語を当てるのはかなり珍しいです。そして日本語で母音を落として変音節を作るテクニックが素晴らしいです。ここを8音節で歌っていますが、元の日本語は15音節あります。同じ年の12月、レディットを見つけてインタビューの英訳があるのを知りましたが、未訳のインタビューもまだまだたくさんありました。自分で英訳したいと思いましたが、私は英語ネイティブではないし、当時は音楽用語も詳しくなかったので、無謀ではないかと思いました。でも、小鳩さんが背中を押してくれたんです。折れない石を宿した瞳に迷いはない。映し出した広がる世界に初めまして。この胸躍らせてる一度きりそうしたパーティー。もし小鳩さんが私の立場だったら、やれることをやるだろう、自分の想像さえ超えていくだろうと思ったんです。なので、もし私の翻訳が役に立ったなら、私ではなく、私に勇気をくれた小鳩さんに感謝してください。バンドメイドには人生を変える力があります。そうですよね。T シンジさん、どうもありがとうございました。そしてバンドメイドさん、小鳩さん、多くの人の人生を素晴らしいものにしてくださり、ありがとうございます。うわー、もう30分近く経っちゃいました。ここでちょっとお休みにして、動画の残りはまた来週見ることにしましょう。次回は作詞家小鳩さんのお話からしようと思います。ではまた次回。バイバイ。
You guys heard her. Until next week, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was I can see why now, guys. So I can see why there's 3 parts to this and why it's very, very long. Because I feel like we barely still kind of have scratched the surface of a little bit of the overall story. We kind of just got to the point of like the part of the Band-Maid story that we really haven't, I think, told too much yet. So I think that the way that they decided to go about this docuseries, I think, was exactly the way that they're supposed to. I think they did an excellent job of that. I was a little curious of why the order, but now the order totally makes sense. You know what I mean? The way that they filmed this and the way that they recorded it and put it out totally makes sense, the way that they're telling the story. So I really, again, shout out to the team that made this and the individuals all involved with making this entire docuseries. I've been really enjoying it, and we're going to get into the next one. Very soon, for next week. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into it. I promise, guys, it's not going to be as long as it was between the last ones. I promise we're going to knock this thing out before the new year. I promise you that. That is my Christmas gift to you, and my holiday gift to everyone out there is that I will make sure that these things get knocked out before we hit the new year, before 2025, baby. I'm telling you, before we do. We got to get back to the music. We got to get back to the songs, because we've been going through this, so we haven't been really getting to the songs. So we got to get back on the songs. If you made it to this point in the video, it's probably because you really love Band-Maid. But if you did, you probably don't also hate me as much as you love them, if that makes any sense in the world. And if you do, make sure you join the Foxtrot family. We are always looking for new members. And that is just beyond the YouTube channel. We got the Discord, we have the Patreon. And if you really could give me a solid and give me a like over and a follow over on Instagram, if you have Instagram, that would really, really mean a lot. I've been reaching out to a lot of different artists, trying to set up some interviews for next year, and it would really just mean a lot if you guys could help me get some of those numbers up, because some people just don't take me as seriously with the lower numbers. So I hate to be that guy, but if I could get my Instagram numbers up just a little bit, it might help me out a lot. So I really appreciate that. And again, if you have not joined the Foxtrot family, there's always room for